2022, yay. Oh, it's gonna be a mess. Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Manon and today I kind of wanted to talk to you about some of the goals in my TBR list for 2022. Be aware, it's gonna be a bit of a mess, but that's like always the case on this channel. And so are my reading habits. So welcome to the mess that is this. We're gonna start off with some of the goals that I have for this year. Last year I made my reading goal. I'm gonna keep it the same amount, and that is 52. Last year I made it by the skin of my teeth, and also by reading a lot of short novels in December because I was laughably behind. And loving short novels I had on my TBR. I wanted to read them at some point, and I felt like this was the perfect time to do it in December, and therefore I made it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have. I also started kind of March, April with this reading goal. So I think now, this year, I'm going to keep it the same because I want to read a lot of bigger novels and ones that I kind of left to the sidelines at the end of the year, to focus on the short novels. Because at least I would have achieved something in 2021. When it comes to genres, so the 50 books and the genres that I want to read mostly is fantasy, classics, and some contemporary novels. Now when it comes to fantasy, last year when I made one of my first videos, it was like, I read a lot of fantasy. I enjoy mostly fantasy. And you look back at your year, and you really didn't. And I miss it. Like, I generally miss that genre. And my TBR from last year, I think at least half of the books that I added to it are all fantasy, YA fantasy. So I really want to get through a lot of them this year. So yeah, be prepared for more of that. Then also the classics, classic books. I started last year. I didn't know what it was for me. I've learned with classics that I either like them or they don't, or I really don't. And I'm just not gonna simply by the name, but I'm gonna like properly read the description and see if I really want that. I think I have my bookcase now. Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, which I do really want to read this year. I find it seems very interesting. Also, probably gonna read some Jane Austen, and I have also Wuthering Heights in its stuff. Also, good to know, I have a whole shelf dedicated, like this is my TBR of physical books that I own at the beginning of 2022. There are like 3-4 more there, but it's on island when I'm on behind my desk, so I have a very clear view of all the books I still need to read. This one fits really well what I want to read this year. And also, when it comes to contemporary novels, I really want to read a lot more books by authors of color or from very different regions all over the world. So that's very important to me because also I think reading for me is a way to, you know, broaden our worldview, see what other people are going through or the challenge that they face in their lives. Those are the goals for this year. 52 books, fantasy, classic, contemporary novels, which are mainly by, well, more diverse group. I think that's it. Like more diversity on every front. Then also, I may have kind of a few books that I wanted to read last year, and then I didn't. One of them, for example, is The Song of Achilles, which I have the book for. This one, which I bought, I was like, I'm gonna read it right away, and then I didn't. Because it's such a beautiful edition. I just didn't want to like bring it with me on like when I was on a city trip. Norwegian Wood. Because here's the thing. I'm gonna explain this a little bit better. I gave everything in my bookcase, like I rearranged my bookcase. That's what I'm wanting to say. So, what I decided to do, and I'll show you pictures, so like, if you're looking at the screen, it's gonna be the top left corner, where you have the nostalgia, shelf, which is like books from my childhood and teenage years that I really enjoyed and I loved, and I just don't want to get rid of because they either have a significant meaning to me or I've gotten them from like my mom, a really big pile. I don't want to get rid of them, or those that just, you know, mean a lot and I enjoyed. Then next on the right hand side, the two upper shelves are my to read. Like, I've read these books. Then on the left hand side of that really small shelf, and the one below it is just my photography shelf, like with the photography books. The bottom two shelves is my TBR. And I didn't realize that I had so many books on my bookcase that I hadn't read yet until I started making the piles. So unless it's not like it fits, like barely. Like there, you can't even get like one piece of paper between that. So yeah, I have something to do this year. Like, I can't say that I don't have anything to BR. I hope it refrains me from buying books for at least 1 or 2 months. I make no promises. That's why the Song of Achilles is there. Also, when that TBR list, I don't even know where it was. Story? Hold on. Right. So these are all books that I still need to read, and a lot of the other books that I wanted to read, which I talked about last year, which was also like a fall love story, Crying in H Mart, which I really wanted to read, I think since spring last year, and I still haven't. I now have the ebook version of it, so I'll be going through that one. There are also things outside of those books that are recommended to me by friends. I have one friend who is in love with Sylvia Plath. Probably will read The Bell Jar this year as well, which is pretty high on my TBR. Then another friend mentioned to me this week, actually, like she loved Charles Dickens, or she loves Charles Dickens. I think what it is that if a lot of friends might like make recommendations about certain books or authors, I just really want to read it and see what it's about and why they enjoyed it. And I think it also tells a lot about their person, what they like to read and who they are. It's kind of like getting to know your friends a little bit better. Okay, so that was kind of it for today. That was kind of my reading goal and TBR. So yeah, fantasy, classics, contemporary novels that are very diverse group. And reading is some of the leftovers from last year that I really want to read, that I'm gonna go after this year. Those are gonna be at the top of my TBR. Then I have a whole shelf. Then whatever comes out this year, and then I think that'll be it, because there is not a lot of space. Like, we can't read as much as we want to. There are more books coming out than I'm able to consume. It's a disappointing fact of life. Hopefully at the end of the year, I'm gonna look back and see whether I actually did read a lot of fantasy this year. I probably will. I hope. And if I even reach my reading goal, I think ultimately I want to reach at least 40, hopefully 52. If I get more, I get more. But don't hold your breath, because it probably won't end well. Okay, so like I said in the last video as well, is I won't be uploading a video every week, because as we've noticed last year, I'm terrible at it. And I just simply don't have the time or able to create the content to fulfill that. So I'm gonna do at least a video every other week. If I do upload more in between, which is very possible, it will just be kind of like an extra video. If you have books that I should read or have ideas of want to see something on videos, let me know in the comments below. Who knows, I'll eventually do one every week. Thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, if you enjoyed it or liked it, comment, like, and subscribe. It really does help. It makes me want to create more videos. As ashamed as I am to say it, it really does help. And up until then, happy reading!